All right, we've already established I can't sleep. So let's just get the rundown. Whole college football weekend. Gonna keep it pretty quick here. So, what did I think? Get it started Thursday night. South Florida demolished Boise State. We really did see how much Ashton Genty meant to that team. And they had some transfers to bigger programs. So, not all Ashton Genty, but a lot of Ashton Genty. Keep an eye on the Bulls going forward in the American. Another American team, Tulane, took care of business against Northwestern. Felt disrespected against the Wildcats. Couldn't wear the Hurricane Katrina uniforms that they wore. And John Summerall took it personal. Another guy to keep an eye on. I remember I worked some of his games when he was the coach at Troy. I think he's the real deal. Would not be shocked if he is coaching in the SEC this time next year. Speaking of hot seats in the SEC, Alabama. What happened? Okay, I joke, but Kalen DeBoer, his seat is not hot yet. They're not going to fire him in week 2 of the season, unless he loses to Louisiana Monroe. Then they might chase him out of town. But his team, his Crimson Tide, better get it together really quickly. Dominated up front on both sides of the ball well, not all day. As soon as both teams got off script, it was clear that Florida State was the better team. Alabama had better athletes. Florida State was the better team. There's no difference. Or else we would just decide who wins the national championship purely by recruiting rankings. While it's important, it's not the only thing. But if he plays like that, Alabama might have 6, 7, maybe 8 wins this year. That's not going to get it done in Tuscaloosa. Missing the playoff 2 years in a row, I think, is a death sentence for Kalen DeBoer's job in Tuscaloosa. But hats off to Tommy Castellanos and Norvell there in Tallahassee. The Noles got it done. As much as I hate to admit it, and those who know how I feel about that Florida State program throughout the years. I think that their transfer portal experiment really just shows the highs and lows you can get from the portal. Last year, 2-10, disaster of a season with all portal guys. Get those guys shipped out of town, get new guys in there from the portal, and suddenly, you're 1-0, you have a win against Alabama. How quickly the pendulum swings here in 2025. So, where else? Okay, Death Valley. Which one's real? I don't know, but LSU says it's mine, and it's the real Death Valley. Very impressed with Nussmeier. Not as impressed with Klubnik in that game. I think he'll have a bounce back, but I do think LSU's defense is much improved. I was very low on both of these teams coming into the season, but I honestly don't know what to believe. We have 4 quarters of football on most of these teams. Few exceptions, Iowa State, Kansas State. But I am still in disbelief, not entirely sure exactly what to think about most of the teams. But great win for Brian Kelly, good win for LSU. Where else? So we can move on. Oh, Utah. I want to talk about Devin Dampier. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he was not in Heisman talks before the season. He might be there. Kyle Whittingham has himself a real quarterback. As much as I love Cam Rising, he did not get the job done in his 17 years there oh my goodness, my geography in Utah. You could tell it's 5 o'clock in the morning. He didn't get it done there in Utah. We'll leave it at Utah there for now. Don't kill me, Utes fans. But he didn't get it done. Devin Dampier, bringing in him and his coordinator in, seems to be the correct move. Speaking of another team that did that, played a cupcake this week, but Oklahoma and Mateer did the same setup, bring in the OC and the QB in together. We'll see what they have next week against Michigan, who looked pretty good against New Mexico. Obviously, in Norman, we will see the test of both of those teams. Another Big Ten SEC matchup, Ohio State, Texas, was kind of ugly like I thought it would be. Two not young quarterbacks, but inexperienced quarterbacks. They've been preparing behind their esteemed starters that are now in the NFL. for a few years now. But it didn't seem like either of them were particularly ready for that big moment, which is a shame. I do think it's a little unfair to Arch Manning for him to be ranked first in the Heisman odds just because of his last name, but you could make the argument that his last name got him a lot of places that his play did not. So, who are you to be the judge of that? Expectations are a privilege, and Arch Manning did not live up to everyone's expectations, even if I think that those expectations were a little bit unfair going into this season. So, I think Texas bounces back. They've got a decently weak schedule to open up after this Ohio State game, of course. Ohio State off to the races. That defense is legit, and I think that we'll really see that in Big Ten play. Oregon, Penn State both played nobodies, but I still think that they're going to be around at the end of that. Who else? Big game. Oh, Notre Dame, Miami. Oh my goodness. So welcome back, Carson Beck, as a Georgia fan. It pains me to say that, but welcome back to college football. It seemed like he was playing through injuries a lot last season, but Georgia's offensive line did him no favors, and he was on the ground a lot tonight against Notre Dame, but he made the plays when it mattered. Good game, came down to a late game field goal and a big defensive stop for Miami. So big win for Mario Cristobal and the boys in Coral Gables. Any other big games? Oh, Georgia Tech, Colorado. Haynes King plays every game like he's a bowling ball, and that if he doesn't get an extra yard, his entire family will die. It's crazy. Like, wear and tear does not exist for him. And all the memes coming out of it, I think, were my favorite memes of the weekend, in all honesty. So to look out for Haynes King. I'm very excited about that Week 3 matchup in Bobby Dodd Stadium. Don't kill me, Tech fans, if it's not stadium, if it's field. But I really love their matchup against Clemson, and especially if Clemson can't move the ball. Georgia Tech's defense looked really good against Colorado. Obviously, Colorado is not Clemson, but I think I like their odds. Auburn, able to just kind of push Baylor around 300 yards on the ground for the Tigers. I don't think that that's sustainable against opponents that are not Baylor, but we'll see as they get into SEC play. I think that, Lenora Sellers looked good in a scripted drive and in the fourth quarter where it mattered. South Carolina is very athletic, but they seem to have a lot of raw talent, and we'll see how that treats them, because I don't think they can play as slow as they did today and be a contender in the SEC, but at the same time, I have no clue how the SEC shapes up, because I can't trust Georgia right now with their only film being against Marshall. LSU looks good, but Clemson now has question marks. Texas and Bama both lost this weekend. 2 quality opponents, I believe, but we don't know. I think the SEC is wide open. So maybe DJ Lagway in Florida steals it. Who knows? But I think it's going to be a very, very fun college football year. And yeah. All right, that's my thoughts here at 5:37 in the morning. Monday morning. Happy Labor Day to everybody. And I'm so glad college football's back. It's been too long since I've been able to talk like this. All right. Good night. Love you, everybody.